Buenos días. Es el viernes y son las 12. Hello, everyone. It's Friday and it's 12 o'clock, so it's time for Community Spanish, broadcasting every Wednesday and Friday at 12. Along with Community Spanish, we also have our Facebook Live programming for Community Mandarin, Community French, Children's French, and also if you want to check out on our Instagram page, our Instagram profile, we also have live Portuguese lessons, and also you can catch some French pronunciation videos over there as well. So a lot of different content being produced each week on both our Facebook and Instagram channels. So couple quick announcements before we get into today's video. First announcement is just to give a reminder that this will be my last Community Spanish video of this style, and so we're hoping to kind of transform this this program into maybe something a little different going ahead. But this is the last one we're going to be offering of Community Spanish for now. But in the meantime, if you want to check out any videos, I have made a lot of content over this past little over a year now. So there's still a lot of different videos out there for you to check out while we are kind of figuring out or like reframing exactly how our Community Spanish lessons will be. So stay tuned for any updates about that. In the meantime, you're welcome to go to our website, rolalang.com, and go to the Facebook Live section of the website to see all the video library of all the videos we've made up to now. And there's a lot of content up there, and not just the videos, but also there's a lot of extra worksheets to go along with the videos. So you're welcome to kind of dive into those to practice the things you need a little bit more help with as you see fit. Apart from that, one other quick announcement is just to remind that our May classes are starting next week. So there's still like just the last minute chance to get into a class. If you're looking to join something, you can see all the options up on the website. We can see the different languages, different levels, different course styles we're offering. We have, as I've kind of mentioned along, if you've been following along with Rola, we are starting to reopen some of our in-person offerings. So we're offering a select few number of classes in person in our office in Porter Square, and we've been really, putting a lot of work into rehabbing our offices and making them the kind of the best use of space and very conducive to the kind of learning that we're trying to do now as we try to bring people back slowly and safely to our offices for in-person learning as they feel comfortable. So all that being said, let's get into today's video. So we're going to be taking a look at another review series, another repaso. And so I've been diving into a bit of present tense review in the past few videos. And so first we did kind of an overview of the of just AR, ER, and IR verbs generally. And then also I started doing a little bit of review with specific common irregular groups. So we already looked at verbs that are from O to UE in their stem change. And today we're going to be focusing on verbs that are E to IE. So again, this is something that we're going to look at for some specific verbs, but these are even though these are irregularities, meaning they don't follow our normal patterns, even though that's true, there actually are a lot of verbs that fall into these categories. So in a way, they do actually follow patterns, even if it's another different pattern than the regular verbs. So keep that in mind as we do our practice. And as I said, this is a repaso or review. So if this is a completely new concept to you, I invite you to go to the website, to go to the Facebook Live page, and that way you can kind of look at the original video I made where I just first introduced some of these concepts so you can kind of get familiar with them first before you come back here for the review. So make sure you keep in mind those resources are there for you if you're not quite ready for the review stage. Okay, so all that being said, let's get into our quick review before we get into, most importantly, our exercise to do together. So as I said, we're looking at specifically this group of verbos irregulares, the E a IE. So these are places, different verbs where we have what's called a stem change. So meaning these changes happening, this irregularity is happening in like usually the first half of the word. So that's where we say called this like the stem is that first part. So in this case, we're looking at where you can see, for example, the verb empezar, which is to start. We can see in the stem, we have the letter I in English or E en español. And this we can see is the transformation is happening. If we look at yo and tú and el, ella, usted and ellos, ellas, ustedes, we can see where this E is transforming into IE. And so as we reviewed in the last video as well, and it's something that's going to repeat in many different groups of kinds of irregular verbs, these are what we call boot verbs. And what it means when we say it's a boot verb is that it means that all of the people that are inside what's the boot, I'm going to explain that in a quick second, are ones that will be irregular. And the ones that are outside the boot are going to follow the regular patterns. So when we talk about the boot, what we kind of visualize this verb chart, which the one we have in front of us here is just all rows going down. But in a more standard verb chart, we would have basically 3 rows and 2 columns. So we have the yo, tú, él on one column, and then we have nosotros, vosotros, ellos, ellas, ustedes on the other column. So we would have, again, we have 3 rows with 2 columns. So when we visualize this boot, So what it's going to mean is that the ones falling inside of the yo, tú, él, ella, usted, and into the ellos, ellas, ustedes, if you draw a line around those ones, you get what looks like a boot. And so that's where we're going to have the irregular conjugations. And then outside the boot is where we're going to have regular conjugations. So again, just your quick review on that step before we get into our practice together. So we are going to, first, let's repeat some of these together so we can, again, kind of wrap our heads around this idea. So for example, we have the verb negar, which is to deny. And so vamos a repetir juntos. So we're going to repeat these first together, just again, kind of get our mind into the flow of this kind of pattern. So repite conmigo. Yo niego. Tú niegas. Él, ella, usted niega. Nosotros, nosotras negamos. Vosotros, vosotras negáis. Ellos, ellas, ustedes niegan. Muy bien. So you can see, again, we have to do a little bit of visualizing past this page because this verb chart isn't in exactly the form I was describing, but you can see that boot shape, again, with the yo, with niego, tú niegas, él, ella, usted niega, and ellos, ellas, ustedes niegan. And you can see that the nosotros and vosotros are going to remain regular with negamos and negáis. So all that being said, let's get into our exercise where we're going to practice this a little bit more together. So vamos a hacer la tabla aquí. So we have a little chart with some different verbs, and we're going to practice putting these different verbs into yo form and nosotros form. And as always, as we do exercises, I welcome you to participate as much as you feel comfortable, whether you're watching this on Facebook or on YouTube, to put your own answers in the comments below. So por favor, escribe tus respuestas en los comentarios abajo so you can participate along with me and I can see how you're doing with these conjugations. So starting with the first verb is querer. So we're going to be working with yo in one column and nosotros in the other column. So número uno es querer. So if we're following this pattern, ¿cómo va a ser la forma con yo? So how will the form be with yo? Yo quiero. Quiero. Again, E is transforming to IE because we are inside our boot of irregularity. Yo quiero. Y con nosotros, nosotras, queremos. Queremos. Again, now we're outside the boot, so we're following regular patterns. And so in a regular pattern, we only change the end of the infinitive. We don't change the beginning. Again, the infinitive being querer in this case, or if we say comenzar in the example. So that's the infinitive. So in normal conjugations, we're only changing that ending. But in these irregular ones, we're changing also some part in the beginning. So if we're in nosotros, we're outside of the irregular boot. So we're following regular patterns and not changing anything in the stem. So we have yo quiero and nosotros queremos. Okay, número dos. We have the verb empezar. Empezar. So con yo, ¿cómo es? Yo empiezo. Yo empiezo, right? Empiezo. So we have inside the boot, so irregular. Y nosotros, nosotras. Empezamos. Empezamos. Again, outside the irregular boot, following regular pattern. Repita. Empiezo. Empezamos. Muy bien. Okay. Número tres, we have the verb cerrar. So again, first we had querer, which is like to like or, to want. And then we have empezar, which means it's like comenzar, it means to begin or to start. Now we have cerrar, which means to close. So yo cierro. Y nosotros, nosotras. Cerramos, regular. Repita conmigo. Cierro. Cerramos. Muy bien. So I close and we close. Número 4. Despertar. Despertar meaning to wake up. So yo despierto. Yo despierto. Okay. Y nosotros, nosotras. Despertamos, right? No change. Despertamos. Repita conmigo. Despierto. despertamos. Muy bien. Ok, número 5. Preferir, preferir, to prefer. Yo prefiero. Tú, sorry, tú, nosotros, no, excuse me, nosotros preferimos, que no hay cambio, no change. Repita, prefiero, preferimos. Muy bien. Y el último verbo, entender, entender, to understand. Yo entiendo y nosotros entendemos. Repita, entiendo, entendemos. Muy bien. All right. So that was just a kind of a quick foray into these kinds of verbs, of the irregulars of A to EA. But as I mentioned, these are just a few examples, but there are many verbs that follow this pattern. So if you'd like to get a little more practice, I invite you to check out some of the other videos I've made on this subject, the Rola Languages website on the Facebook Live page, where you can check out the video library of all the previous videos. I've covered this and many other different categories of irregular verbs and many other subjects. And again, as I mentioned at the start, we do have some extra worksheets to go along with some of these videos. So if you'd like to get kind of dive into the resources even more, there's a lot of material for you to take advantage of on our website. So welcome you to go check that out, see if there's anything that would be helpful for you. And not just the community Spanish material, but all of our other live programming that we do on Facebook is also going up on that page of our website. So there's really a lot of different videos, a lot of different topics to tune into for different age groups that we've catered to. And so we welcome you, as these are free resources, we welcome you to share them with anyone who you think might benefit. Okay, that's all for me. Gracias y adiós.